Hey guys and girls, my name is Alan and welcome to today's video. As you can see, I've got some more Uncharted 4 multiplayer footage for you to enjoy, and as you can tell from the rank that I am in this game, I'm level 14. This is very early gameplay for Uncharted 4 multiplayer. This is Plunder from way back in the day, within the first couple of weeks of multiplayer dropping, I do believe. And despite that though, it is a very good piece of gameplay, so don't let that fool you. I do a lot of work in this game, and it's very back and forth from what I've seen. Like, we go literally end to end, and just, yeah, really interesting gameplay, so I hope you enjoy it. Right, so in the UK at the moment, we're suffering a bit of a cold snap, and it's not necessarily that bad where I am, but other parts of the country. So I live in the Midlands, sort of central England, and up north they've been getting quite a lot of snow. Down south they're getting bits of it as well. On the west coast, on the east coast, they're getting bits of it. So I'm wondering, where's our snow? I don't understand. Like, I'm missing out on all of this. I love the snow. I love building snowmen. And we've just had like a tiny little light flurry, and it's just melted really quickly, or it's just been really cold. Plenty of ground frost and stuff like that, but no snow. So I'm a little bit sad. But other parts of the country have been getting quite a lot of it, apparently. I mean, I don't know. God, we're not getting in here, so I can't really say. But the usual stuff, when it snows even a little bit, the whole country just seems to shut down. But again, in the Midlands, we seem to be unaffected so far. So I'd say a little bit disappointed, but at the same time, a little bit relieved that we don't have to deal with all the crap that comes with a tiny bit of snow. Okay, so just a few little things before I pick up the US trip, which I will definitely be carrying on with today, and I'll talk more about that towards the end of the video. Later, sometime next week, I will be potentially sharing some different gameplay on the channel. So you've seen quite a lot of Fortnite and a lot of Uncharted so far, but there might be something else on the horizon, maybe, hint hint. And on my Players channel, I've been banging on it for ages and ages and ages. I'm definitely going to be starting Uncharted 3 playthrough either this weekend or next week, going through to the weekend. I won't be posting gameplay straight away because what I've learned from recording previous gameplays and posting them to my Players channel is that I generally record at a slower pace than I actually edit, render and upload. And, well, actually no, that's not true. It takes a while to edit and render and upload, but the way that I do is I like to put at least 2 a day, so I'm knocking out at least 2 videos and putting them on the Players channel. But I'm not recording nearly 2 videos worth of gameplay every single day. I sort of just churn out more than I actually record, which isn't a good thing, because then obviously there's going to be a few days gap in between when I post one video and then obviously record, edit and then post the next video. So what I'm going to do this time around is I'm going to record the entire gameplay, and then I'm going to edit and render everything, and then I'm just going to post it day by day. So there's not going to be any sort of downtime whatsoever between videos going up, and I think it's probably better for consistency. So even though I'm going to start recording it this weekend or maybe next week, you won't see the gameplay for at least another week, because I want to make sure that I've got everything knocked out and ready to go, or at least mostly ready to go anyway, so that there's no downtime in between. I just think for consistency and enjoyment purposes and my own sanity, because otherwise I'll have to rush to record and obviously the gameplay won't be as good and so on and so forth. So I just think for consistency it's going to be better to just get it all done. But it is definitely, I promise you, 100% on the way. Maybe next weekend, if not that week leading up, but definitely going to be videos going up on my Players channel. If, by the way, you do want to get caught up on the story before watching my playthrough of Uncharted 3, I have actually already recorded Uncharted 1 and Uncharted 2 remastered versions on my Players channel. I will link one of those on the screen now. I'll also link in the description below so you can check it out and get caught up before Uncharted 3 drops. Again, just like Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 1, I've beat Uncharted 3 on the PS3, and I've also played it on the PS3. But I just decided I want to play through it again on the PS4 and complete it again. And just like those 2 games, I will of course be playing on Crushing for my first time on the PS4, because I'm a seasoned vet, so there's no point playing anything lower. In terms of platting it again, I mean, I did plat Uncharted 2 a couple of weeks back. I actually did record a Journey to Platinum video for that, so if you want to check it out, I'll link that on the screen, also in the description as well. It's basically just a series that I do. When I complete a game and I go for the Platinum Trophy, I always record like the last 1 or 2 trophies, and that JTP video, Journey to Platinum, is just me sharing that progress and ultimately earning the Platinum Trophy. So it's something that I've started doing for the few games that I've platted, and it's just nice for me to reminisce about it in the future. But it's also nice to share as well if you're struggling to get those final few trophies, because generally I leave the hardest ones to the end, so if you are struggling, then obviously you can pick up some hints from that as well. But as I said, something that I do, so check it out if you're interested. Alright then, so I think that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. In fact, no, there's one little thing. So today's video is actually going to be 4 for 4. Now, I posted a video yesterday and the day before that and the day before that, and it's been pretty interesting. I've only recorded like 2 proper gameplay commentaries out of the 4 videos that I've done, but the fact that I've managed to post 4 on the bounce is a bit of an achievement for me. I mean, it's not a huge achievement, but it's something that it's taken actually a bit of time, a lot more time than I care to admit, and it's kind of hard to do. Like, I don't think I could do this on a regular basis. I think one every other day is probably as much as I'm willing to do. I don't think I'll be posting one tomorrow because I do work at the weekends. As I said, I work in retail. So unfortunately, that's where the chain's going to stop. But maybe next week, I might try it again another 4 days on the road, something like that. But we'll see. As I said, some other gameplay potentially next week for you to enjoy. And of course, I'll be working on my Uncharted 3 walkthrough as well. So I doubt I'll have much free time to obviously post that many videos on 2 different channels. Right, so in last week's video, I finally got to the wedding ceremony for my cousin's wedding, and this story is now, this is part 5, I believe, this week, but it's been spread over several months. And if you want to check it out, I'll link it on the screen now. I will also link it in the description below. But we finally talked about the wedding and the ceremony, and it's really beautiful, and it was just really nice to be there for my cousin. And so today we're going to move on to what happened after the ceremony. We all walked up the stairs that the bride and groom stacked it on to this sort of little area, this little clearing where they had an open bar. And I said last week that I didn't get ID'd, which is a nice surprise. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, it's an open bar, so why would you get ID? Because technically no money's exchanging hands. Well, some of the other people that were there got ID'd, so I'm just saying, I didn't get ID'd, which is funny because I always get ID'd in the UK, and the drinking age in America is actually 21, so it just made me chuckle. I don't know, this is a stupid thing, but it just made me chuckle. Right, so we're in this area, we've got drinks, we've got canapes, and we're just mingling with guests, and there's like little games that you can play on the lawn, so you can chuck the sack into the hole, that sort of stuff. And then eventually we got taken through to the dining area, which was a different part of the orchard, and it was sort of, I guess you'd call it like a back garden. I don't know if this house was privately owned or if it's a venue or whatever, but there was obviously a house there, and it had a swimming pool and everything, and there was like, this massive like paved off area. Well, I say paved, I don't know what it was, stone or whatever. So they had all these tables set out for obviously the wedding dinner, and obviously the traditional long table for the bride and groom and their immediate families. And it was just, yeah, it was just really nice. The trees had hanging lights on them, and as I said in last week's video, it was like a scene out of a film, like a rich person's wedding, and it just looked really nice, and it just really fit the scenery and everything. So as we were heading towards the tables, there was this big like cardboard like sheet or whatever it was, and obviously this was to show us where we were sitting. So you find your name, you go and find your table, well, you find your name, find your table number, and then you find your table, you sit down. And then it was time, of course, for the speeches. So my uncle gave one, a really good speech. My cousin's sister gave a speech, again really good as well. And then the father of the groom gave his speech, and that was sort of, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. And I'm not saying that just because my uncle's speech was really good, but I don't know, it just felt not very good. I don't know how to say it without being like harsh. I mean, obviously maybe he's just not very good at writing speeches, or maybe he didn't get someone to proofread it or whatever, but it wasn't bad, it just wasn't as good as my uncle's. And again, no bias in it at all, that's just facts. I'm tempted to say some other people gave speeches as well, but I can't quite remember. I think maybe the maid of honor gave another speech. She's best friends with the bride, so that kind of makes sense. And maybe some other people, I don't know, I can't really remember. The speeches then were really good, just like they were at the ceremony. As I said, my uncle's speech was bang on, and so was my cousin's speech. So they were just really nice to hear, really heartfelt, you know, like little stories about personal things, but just really good stories. Again, like just something out of a film, I'm telling you, man. I could sell this script. I mean, technically it's not my script to sell, but I could sell this script to somebody, maybe even get it featured. Hit me up if you're a producer or a writer, whatever, you want some more insight. I'm happy to work on commission. Right, so they had the speeches, and obviously we raised our glasses and all the rest of it several times, and then we finally got down to the food. And the food itself, I was surprised. It was actually a buffet. Now, it's not a traditional buffet. Like, you think buffet, you think beef and just plenty of it. This was definitely not cheap or plenty of it, but there was enough to go around. So you'd queue up and you'd go along, and then each of these stations had a certain thing. So I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain because obviously it's all self-serve, it's a buffet, that bit's the same. But the food that they're serving is obviously high quality, and the amount of food that's there it's clearly not something you'd stuff your face with, but there's decent portions for everyone. So as an example, there was a big tray of tagliatelle, I think it was. So you just get a bit of that, and then you move on to the next station, and there were like blocks of beef. So obviously you take a block of beef, and then the next station had like chunks of fish, but we're talking like fillets of fish, basically, not even small chunks. So a fillet of fish, you take a fillet of fish, so then you basically pile up your plate, but then you've got like all of these different things to eat. And I took enough, I didn't have to go back for seconds. I guess you could if you wanted to. I don't know how that would work in terms of like the beef and the fish and stuff like that. Chicken as well, by the way, I forgot to mention that. So you obviously get a piece of chicken. As far as I'm aware, there wasn't any rules in terms of going back for more, and I don't think there were any rules in terms of taking only one of the items. So I took one of everything. I don't know about everyone else, but I took a bit of this, bit of that, and my plate was not necessarily stacked really high, but when I finished eating it, I was content. I was done. I didn't need to go back for seconds. Some people did go back for seconds. I think my cousin went back for seconds, not the bride, one of my other cousins from the UK, and he enjoyed himself. Again, open bar, so why wouldn't you? And yeah, it was just really nice. I'll be honest, it wasn't what I was expecting. Then again, I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting it to be that sort of a meal. But it was nice, don't get me wrong, the food was really good, and I was full and well fed and everything, so I can't complain. By this point, the sun had started to set, so it's sort of dusk now, and because we're high up on this hill, we're looking over like LA, and the lights are on, and it's sort of dusk, and it just added to it. It really, really did. Again, I got some pictures. I might put them on Insta at some point in the future. And then, as I mentioned earlier, there were lights on the trees, and obviously as it got darker, these lights became more apparent and stood out a bit more. And they were wrapped all the way around the branches and the trunk, and they were hanging above our heads, and it just really nice. Right, so I don't know how much time I've got left in this gameplay to talk about the rest of the actual day, but that was pretty much the end of it. So that was the wedding ceremony, that was the meal, that was the main thing. After that point, they had a dance floor where obviously the bride and the groom had their dance, and then I think the bride danced with the father and the groom danced with his mother. Apparently that's the thing, I didn't realise, but that was the thing. So they had their dances, and then the floor was open for everyone else, and the bar remained open so you could still get drinks and stuff. And what I didn't realise was there was actually going to be an after party. So this venue actually closed, I think it was 11 PM because it's in a residential area, so they couldn't have the music going on all night long. But they moved the party on from that location to a hotel. Now, I think I'm going to talk about that probably in next week's video, but nothing much happened at the hotel party. It's just mostly drinking, socialising. I'll talk more about it in next week's video, but it's not a major part of my trip, to be honest with you. It's sort of just an event that took place after the wedding. But I think it's probably worth covering, so I'll talk about it then. Right, so this gameplay has come to an end. If you did enjoy the content, do consider tapping that button. I really do appreciate it. And as always, if you've got any thoughts to share me regarding anything I've talked about today or anything you've seen in the gameplay, let me know in the comment section below. As I said, this is one of the very early pieces of gameplays that I recorded for Uncharted 4 multiplayer, but I think a pretty good gameplay regardless. I still think it's probably one of my better gameplays. I mean, I have hundreds to sort through, so I don't actually know, but I think it's still one of my better gameplays that I've recorded and obviously posted to the channel now. But yeah, until next time, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, take care, and I will see you later.